I'm David Kohanek, founder of ExecutiveResumeWriters.com. We've helped over 6,000 senior level managers and executives build their personal brand and move their careers forward. In this video, I speak with one of our clients who leveraged a consulting project to prove his value to the organization and negotiate a full-time vice president role with a regional medical center. He shares important lessons learned, including understanding your priorities, revising your resume to be competitive in this market, understanding the talent gap that the organization is trying to fill, and finally, demonstrating integrity and grit during difficult times. Be sure to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on future helpful job search strategies like the ones we covered today. Okay, let's get to the interview with Tom. All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's conversation on career success. We are talking to Tom O'Donnell, someone who has decades of experience in leadership roles in higher ed, leadership roles in the healthcare arena. We're going to dive deep into his transition and some of the lessons he learned in that process. So, Tom, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you investing the time here with our audience and just understanding a little bit more. So I guess to kick this off, why don't we start with what is your current role, and can you describe sort of what prompted you to make that change and for you to be thinking about what was next?
So thank you. Great question. So, as you stated earlier, I've been in the healthcare field, college field for close to 30 years, probably 20 years in healthcare in the last 8 years at Columbia University. They hired me as a consultant for operations in facilities. 2.5 months into the job, the COO and vice president of HR started to have conversations with me about my background and experience in healthcare and wanted to know would I be interested in the vice president role, vice president of support service and facilities role here. So we went back and forth for a couple of weeks, and we came up, with an agreement and an offer. So I accepted the position in February. Been here ever since. Enjoying it, love it. It's challenging.
What were the factors that you considered when moving into this new role, and as the leadership came to you and said, Tom, we believe that you're going to be the right person for this role, what were the things that you had to consider to say, is this really what's next for me, and is this what I want to do next?
Well, I think anything you do, you got to look at a couple of things. I always look at family first, family, location, opportunities, and can you make a difference? I've never taken a job for salary. And I've never taken a job if I can't grow. So if you can't grow and the salary is $300,000 or $400,000 and you can't make a difference, you're just kidding yourself. So I look at, I was close to my family. I had the opportunity to make a change. They needed someone with my years of experience at this facility, and that was extremely important to me, and it was important to them, and they thought it would be a right fit, and it has been a right fit since that time we made the agreement. They've given me tremendous leeway to make change here, reorganize the organization within support service and facilities. They're extremely well balanced to make sure that management, staff, and employees are well balanced with time off, and they get opportunities to do things, which I'm a huge fan of.
Okay, got it. So beyond just money, it checked those other boxes for you on the location side of things, on the responsibilities, but also it sounds like the culture shift and the challenge that came with that was also interesting to you. Is that right?
Yes. I think whoever you are, again, it doesn't matter if it's healthcare or working for a bank, you want to be stimulated to go to work every day. You just want to bounce out of bed and make a difference. And if you have that opportunity and you have it in your DNA to do that, I think the average person would take that opportunity and run with it.
Okay. What what steps did you take to prepare for the transition? What were the things that you needed to do to get ready for to have either to have those conversations or once you got introduced? What was the path?
Well, I needed to find, first of all, I needed to make sure I revised my resume, number one.
Okay.
And I need to make sure, because I think, if you want to go out there in the market and compete with the best, you got to make sure that the company you're dealing with and you have a relationship is at their best. And, I made sure that I call it like a SWOT analysis. I scanned a couple of companies to make sure there was a right fit with me in that company, that they understood and had a feeling where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And they knew me. And I think that was important with our relationship that I had with your company, that there was an understanding of that. And that's why I decided to go that route. There's a number of people and companies in any business, we can do this, we can do this. But I believe what I was very happy with is, yourself and your company was there the whole step of the way. If you had any questions, concerns, they want to make any edits. And that's what's important, that you have someone, it's like running a track meet. You want someone to hand that baton off every lap. And I felt very comfortable with your organization doing that. And I think that was my biggest, I do a bucket list. What's number one? Let's find a good company that I can get my resume, cover letter set up with, get that situated, and then come up with a plan, how to attack what kind of job I'm looking for. And that was very important to me. And then geographic locations, where do you want to go? I wanted to stay on the East Coast, New York, Boston, and that worked out extremely well.
Good, excellent. Well, and I appreciate that. As you went through this process and they were interviewing you for this current role, what were the key things that they were looking for? In other words, what was the talent gap that they were trying to fill that they felt like Tom's the guy for this? Because what do you think those key factors were?
I think in the number one of the biggest concerns and things they were looking for is someone that had was well versed in healthcare, not just within support services or facilities. In addition, they also were very in tune to my regulatory background of working at large academic medical centers and going through successfully a number of regulatory surveys. That was another avenue they wanted to see, to make sure that I had regulatory compliance experience, due to the fact that they were opening a new hospital and they had that expertise working at their facility. Was extremely helpful.
Okay.
And then I think they're very focused on empathy, compassion, and understanding of employee relations and employee engagement. And that was very important for them. And we just hit it out of the park together, going back and forth with situations and real life stories of other places I've worked at. And I believe that impressed them. So I think it was a very good fit.
In our prep call, we had some conversations about work ethic and how that shows up in the job search. So it hasn't always been smooth for you, right? You've had some challenges in your career. Can you tell us a little bit about that and sort of decisions you made to demonstrate that work ethic? A quick interruption to the video. We have a favor to ask. If you're finding the content that we produce on this channel helpful, would you please do us the favor and click the subscribe button? This really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm, and it lets them know that we're providing helpful content that could also help others in the process. So again, if you would just take a moment, click that subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, now back to the video.
Healthcare sometimes is tough. There's times in healthcare, just like there's times in Wall Street, where there's a hiring freeze, or like no one's hiring and you got to go out of state to get a job or do something different. And I had that situation where I had to go out to 3,000 miles across the country and take a job and come home every 3 weeks. And you have to make a decision. You're setting an example for your kids that, dad's the kind of person that's going to go to work, even though dad's away 3,000 miles. We still can call him, we still can do a Zoom, He comes home every 3 weeks. We have him for 4 days straight, then he goes back again. And I think what's the most important thing is you're giving your kids a foundation of integrity and grit, that everything's not going to be perfect. Things are not going to be handed to you, and that you need to make decisions as a father or mother to do those things and have those difficult times. And I remember when I came back, I was in between changing jobs, and the consultant assignment I was given was a month out. So I decided to work in the produce department for 3.5 weeks. And, some people say, well, just collect unemployment. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want my kids seeing me sit down for 3 to 4 weeks. It's just the way I was raised in my DNA. I want my kids to see me. They're not kids anymore. They're 23 and 19. I want them to say to themselves, hey, when dad came home for a month, he was in the produce department working. And they're going to remember that, and that's going to linger with them. So when they have a difficult time or they have a challenge, they can, hey, what would my dad do? And I think that's important, not only as a father, but I also think it's extremely important as a leader, that you can talk about these things when your coworkers are going on difficult times, and you can relate to them and tell them about some of the challenges that you had. And I think it's extremely important to have those peaks and valleys in all of our careers that you can talk to.
Yeah, yeah, and it's true, right? I mean, we get to a certain point in our career, and it's easy to say, yeah, I'm kind of I'm above that. Like I'm not, I'm above that. But you made the choice to say, what I'm not going to do is accept the assistance. I'm going to make something happen here while I'm in the transition, while I'm waiting. So yeah, that's amazing. Like you said, you're demonstrating that grit to your family, and knowing you'll get back on track for things. But in the meantime, what are you doing with that time? So
Right.
yeah, that's great. Well, Tom, I really appreciate you investing some time with us here and talking through your transition, some of your leadership lessons. I think you're a great example for not just your family, but for obviously your community. You're making a difference. And now sharing these stories and talking about the need for grit and demonstrating the work ethic to your family and to those around you, I think these are really amazing lessons. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Tom. Again, some great lessons. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.